back. If you're not new, my name is Jessalyn Revelle, and I am a wife, a mom to a 4.5-year-old, and a teacher in Southeast Louisiana. I do want to give a slight trigger warning for this video. It's a sit-down video, first off, but we will be discussing the topic of weight loss and weight loss medication. So if that makes you uncomfortable, or if that's just not your cup of tea, feel free to click out. I promise it is what it is. All right, so it is, let's just start off with the elephant in the room. I have had weight problems my entire life. I think from the moment I probably started puberty, 9 years old, I have significantly had weight issues. My teenage years, I was the bigger girl in class. I was the big friend in the group, you know? All of my friends are these beautiful little, like, athletic built, skinny. Even my twin sister was very, very, very skinny. So, like, and I grew up in the early 2000s. That's when I became a teenager in 2003, where if you were a size 4, you were considered morbidly obese, you know? So times were rough for a plus size person, I'll tell you that. My early 20s, same thing. Ups and downs with my weight. My mom passed when I was 22, and I remember having a sit-down conversation with my brother, who is a very, or he was at the time, a very athletic individual, and he took his health like real serious. This must have been like, my mom died in January, and this was probably that summer, so like June, July. He sat me down and was like, hey, I don't want you to die from something like this. He's like, you're young, you can change your ways, like, you need to do something. And that kind of like woke me up, where I was like, you know, I've got to get it together. I've got to get it together. So within like that year, I got a gym membership. I started eating super clean and restrictive and working out. I remember, God, this is like ridiculous. I remember like doing weight loss competitions with my coworkers at my first school, and like everybody was losing weight, and I just could not understand why someone who worked out religiously, me, every single morning from 4:30 to 6 or 5:30, I would literally eat super clean. I went through like a vegan stage in my life. I could not understand why I really wasn't losing weight. Jump to a few years later, I meet my now husband, and I go to the doctor because, you know, as a young woman, you're making sure that everything's good because you know that one day you may bear children. And my doctor diagnosed me with polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, and my weight was probably at the worst it had been in quite a while. So to give you the scene, it is 2016. This is years after my mom passed, like 3 years after my mom passed away. I just moved to a new city with my fiance. I get diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I had no clue what that entailed, and the roller coaster I'd have to deal with. And we just endured a flood in our new home, and I mean, it like destroyed our city. Like, we lost a lot. I want to say health-wise, that was probably the worst I had been. Mental health-wise and physically, just something had to give. Enter the next few years, I'm still on this like up and down roller coaster. My PCOS is probably the worst it's ever been. I am on metformin. It's not doing anything. My hormones are just crazy bad. I get married. We are at the spring of 2018. It's May. So I do get married, and we decide pretty like soon after we get married that we want to have children, because we were 27 at the time, and we felt like we were a little bit older than what most people were, especially where I'm from. They give birth at like 22 and they're considered old. So we start our journey to bring home a baby. And that leads to a year and a half, 2 years of infertility and unanswered questions and No one really knew what was going on. It was a time, y'all. It was a time. So finally, we get pregnant. We have a beautiful little boy. He is just the light of the world, and he is just everything. I give birth. I lose so much weight during my pregnancy. Gained a little bit back. By the time I give birth to my son, I'm like 297. Okay? 297. The only issues I had when I was pregnant, extreme nausea, and then towards the end, blood pressure problems, but I already had high blood pressure, so it was a given. So give birth, within a month of having Colt, I lost 40 pounds. I felt great. I looked great. I say I felt great. I did not feel good after I gave birth, but I looked great and kind of maintained that for a few months after I had Colt. But then I started having medical issues. Enter the spring of 2021. So we are still in the peak of this COVID issue, and I am still feeling a little isolated because we don't really take our son many places because we don't know what COVID can do, you know, this full extent of it. And I'm starting to have medical issues. I go in to my gynecologist. He wanted to do a routine ultrasound to make sure that everything in my female organs were good. And I go to his office after the ultrasound, and he is rushed in there. I have a video with like the aftermath of this. Rushed in there, and he does an emergency biopsy on my uterine wall. He thought that at a time I was going to have not uterine cancer, but endometrial cancer, because the lining of my uterus was like this thick when it's only supposed to be like paper thick. A sheet of paper thick. Like it was insane. That started years of just, I felt like I was in decline with my health. Gained a lot of weight. I didn't feel good. My hormones were at the worst they'd ever been. And I just didn't know. I didn't know what else to do. I just felt like I was a lost cause at that point. And then 2022 was when I noticed a change in my son. So it's like bam, 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 bam. I noticed that Colt was going through a huge regression. He stopped talking. He just acted differently. And when I tell you I could not get any answers from doctors or medical professionals about him, I went into a deep, I don't think people understand, a deep, deep, deep depression. Deep depression. So we're going through the motions. It's 2022. Still no answers for Colt. Colt turns 2 at the end of the year. 2023 rolls around, March of 2023. I find out I'm pregnant. It was a miracle in itself, and that pregnancy barely lasted for a week. And then I found out I had a chemical early miscarriage, which once again sunk me into an even deeper depression because we were not trying. That just happened. And at something that it had taken us 2 years to conceive the first time, like when we weren't even trying, like bam, and then it was taken away, you know? And so depression, even worse. In the meantime, I go to my doctor a few months later for my annual, and he says, you know, we got to get some of this weight off. Your weight's just not what it needs to be. There's this medicine called Ozempic. Let's put you on it. Your A1C is not that great. You're in the pre-diabetic range. Let's do it. So I was on Ozempic for about a year, probably July 2023 until probably less. It was less than a year actually. July 2023 to like February 2024. And I really didn't experience this crazy weight loss like most people do, you know. I felt great. I felt less inflamed. My joints didn't hurt. I worked out a lot more. And in March of 2024, I find out that I'm pregnant again. So once again, we weren't trying. It was just a surprise. And I mean, I felt all the feels. And then 2.5 weeks later, we had another early miscarriage. Actually, it was a year to the day we miscarried in 2023. that I had my miscarriage in 2024. So if you can imagine, my mental health was done. It was done. I did not love myself. It was hard to, give myself to my husband, like mentally and physically and just emotionally, when I just had no will to go on at that point. It was hard to be there for my son when all I wanted to do was be a successful mom, and I felt like the one thing that my body was supposed to do, I couldn't even do that, and I couldn't give him a sibling, which just destroyed me at that point, destroyed me. So in the meantime, I didn't mention, so 2023, we have a miscarriage. In August 2023, Colt is formally diagnosed with level 2 moderate autism spectrum disorder. So we finally had an answer, and we are just in the throngs of therapies and just, you name it, we did it. And I would do it tenfold again for him because he is that important. We have our miscarriage in 2024, and I'm like, I go to school the morning after I start miscarrying, and literally locked myself in the room. And I remember, if you are a fan of my classroom videos, and we have all windows, I sat behind the door in the dark and just cried. And I'm in the busiest hallway at that time. So like people are passing, people are looking in the window, where's Miss Rev at? I sat behind that door and cried. Like it was nobody's business. And then spend that day teaching like business as usual, because there's like this unspoken rule in education that you just kind of gotta deal with it, Well, my weight is just the worst. Now, mind you, remember the day I gave birth, and we were almost 4 years at that point, 4 years beyond postpartum. I was 297, and I was still like 293 to 296. Like, it didn't matter if I was dieting. It didn't matter how much exercising I was doing. It just wasn't it. So I go back to my gynecologist. Well, primary care physician was like, we got to figure something out. I just know he thought that I wasn't doing what he was telling me to do. But like, I promise you, you name it, I've been on that diet. Like, it was that kind of a ride. So I go to my gynecologist again. He's just not passive, because I love my gynecologist, but he's like, we got to figure something out. He sent me to a metabolic doctor earlier in the year, but that metabolic doctor was leaving to go back to the VA hospital. And so she referred me to the metabolic clinic at the women's hospital that I go to. So I go. I have cheer practice that morning. Like, I am just a nervous wreck because, once again, I just had this gut feeling. I'm going to have a doctor tell me that I'm just a fat, lazy piece of crap who does not try, doesn't want to do better. Like, you name it, I've been told it by several doctors, I've been told it. So I go, and when I tell you, she does my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is like through the roof. This is with medication, by the way. I'm on blood pressure medication. It is through the roof. I am so nervous that I felt like I was giving myself like some kind of like cardiac event. My doctor sits me down. She holds my hand. Like, she is just phenomenal. She holds my hand and says, girlfriend, I am 100% going to get you where you need to be weight-wise, because I want you to have a baby, another baby, because that's your heart's desire. I will get you there eventually. But we have got to tackle your mental health. We got to. We have got to tackle your mental health. I am sending you to a psychiatrist. You need to go talk to him. He is phenomenal, and he will get you where you need to be mentally so that physically you can take care of yourself. And she prescribes me new medication. Well, actually, no, the first month. I went in June. She had me on metformin still, which was fine, whatever. she sends me to the psychiatrist. I was trying to make every excuse in the book to cancel this appointment because I did not want to go. I'm telling you, I was trying to make every excuse in the book known to man. I was not going to see a psychiatrist. And my husband sat me down and was like, we have got to make you feel better mentally. He's like, you cannot be that person you want to be for me, for our son, for our household, for your students, for your work. Like, you can't be that person if you are not okay up there. He's like, give it a try. You don't like it? You don't have to go back, but you need to go see. You need to just go talk to him. So I go to my appointment the next day, and she got me in real fast. Like, I'm talking like she flagged it as like emergency. This woman needs help. I really thought they were going to commit me. Like, I was terrified. Like, it was a whole deal. I go to the psychiatrist, and when I tell you, baby, he read me like a book. He read me like a book. Like, all jokes aside, putting my weight aside, this man sat across the table from me and said, you don't like that you can't control situations. You cannot control situations because that's how life is. It took you years to get pregnant. You have a beautiful little boy. Your son is diagnosed with autism. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You get pregnant again. You have a miscarriage. You get pregnant again. You have another miscarriage. You are fighting to get resources for your son. You are teaching, you're coaching, you're doing all these things. He's like, when are you going to stop and do something for you? Baby, when I tell you he read me like a book, I have never felt so seen from a medical professional in my entire 30 plus years of existence. And so he looks at me, he talks about my obsessive thoughts, obsessive compulsive disorder thoughts. He's like, you're not one of those people that's going to line things up and make things perfect, but you don't sleep at night because you think someone's going to break into the house and get rid of all your family. You don't sleep at night because you watch your son and your husband sleep to make sure they're breathing. Baby, he read me because I did those things. So he's like, let's start you on a medicine. Let's put you on the lowest dose possible. Well, he put me on a medication for my anxiety and depression, I guess. He put me on Zoloft, but he put me on the lowest dose possible. So I started them. I didn't want to take the medication. Started it, and within 2 weeks, I had mental clarity like I've never had before. I was able to get up and work out and not feel some type of way. I wasn't hard on myself. In the meantime, I go back to the metabolic doctor, and she sits with me and she's like, oh my goodness, within the last 3 weeks, you are just in such a better mindset. I'm like, I'm trying to be girl because, your girl was rough. So she decides to put me on a GLP-1 medication. She put me on Mounjaro. Once again, I am terrified to take these medications because I did Ozempic for a year and I didn't see the results that everyone told me I was going to see. And I just was like, Lord, you're just going to pump me with more medication, whatever. So I start taking Mounjaro. So we are the summer of 2024, last year. Started my GLP-1 medication journey. I weighed 291 pounds. So I lost a couple pounds on my own. Still working out, still eating, and eating right. Because my husband eats really good. So it's a lot easier to do that when he's doing it. And I am just going through the motion. I am not ashamed to tell people that I'm on a GLP-1 medication. And then I start to see some weight come up. So just to give you a little timeline, I started Mounjaro very beginning of August, late July, early August. And I write down all my, I did my starting weight. So I was 291. The first week I had Mounjaro, which was like 2.5 milligrams I was on at the beginning. And a week later, I weighed in and I gained a pound. I was devastated. I said, here we go again. Here we go. The doctor's going to think that I am being lazy and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do and all these things. Week 2, I was down 6.7 pounds. Week 3, an additional 3.8 pounds. And within the first month, or last week of August, I weighed in at 0.6 pounds. My first month of Mounjaro, I lost 12.4 pounds. And that's with exercising and dieting and all those good things. I was ecstatic. You could not tell me nothing in that moment. Like, I was that girl. I did it. Like, whew, it was something. So, going through the motions, I think the last weight I took for that year, I weighed in on December 3rd, which would have been 4 months to the day that I started Mounjaro, and I weighed in at 258 pounds. So I had lost 33 pounds in 4 months, which had made me feel amazing. At that point, she had bumped me up to 5 milligrams, and I stayed on 5 milligrams for a while. So 2025 rolls around, and I made it a point, beginning of the year, I set a weight goal for myself that I wanted to be 210 by the end of this year, and I'm serious that that is my goal for the end of this year. First month, January, I'd lost 7 pounds in January, which really wasn't bad. February, I started to see more of a plateau. And so she upped my medication to 7.5, which really made me scared because I heard that the side effects could be really rough with people, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So I started that end of February, and now we are middle of April, and I am officially down 27 more pounds this year. So starting in 2025, I'm down 27 more pounds, and I am almost 60 pounds down total from my starting weight in August. So it has been a journey. It has been a journey. I am super proud of myself. I technically see the number on the scale, but my brain doesn't see the weight loss that other people will tell me they see. Now, every once in a while, I'll see a picture and I can compare it to like my starting weight, and I'm like, okay, I can see it. But like, I look in the mirror, or if I put my clothes on, even though my clothes is like hanging off, I don't see that difference. Body dysmorphia is a real thing. So I'm still I just had a doctor appointment today with my metabolic doctor. We are going to stay on that 7.5 dosage. I'm almost 230-ish, which for me, for someone who started at 290 plus, that is such a huge deal for me. I don't remember in my adult life ever being lower than 248-ish after I gave birth to Colt. I really don't ever remember being this size. I've gone down 3 pant sizes. I'm still wearing my giant t-shirts because I feel like in college I didn't have my moment to wear the oversized t-shirts. So like, we gonna live that out right now. And I just feel really good. Like, my mental health is just phenomenal at this point. Physically, I feel great. I lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. I do cardio 5 to 6 days a week. I am just in a much better mindset. We have put plans of conceiving kind of on hold because I made it a promise to myself last year after the second miscarriage that I was going to do this for myself, and I needed to do something for me because I never do anything strictly for me. I'm mom, I'm wife, I'm Mrs. Revelle, the teacher. Like, I do for everyone else, and it was about time that I stopped and did something for me. Losing weight, though, does have its benefits. My PCOS symptoms are greatly reduced. Greatly reduced. My cycles are pretty much, which I never really didn't have a normal cycle. I had a cycle every like 32 days. I'm now down to every 28 days, which is phenomenal. But I'm just so happy that I'm finally seeing results. You know, once again, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm on a GLP-1 because it's helped. It's helped. It 100% has helped me. When you have done it all, you've done every diet in the book, you strictly restrict your, like, strange, just, I've done keto and Weight Watchers and tracking and, like, intermittent fasting. Like, I've done it all. And at one point in my life, like, I didn't even drink anything but water because I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove to them. I'm going to prove to them I'm dedicated. And nothing was really working out well. My metabolic doctor saw that my hormones were a little wacky. And so we're hoping that through losing the weight that my hormones kind of click to get where I need to be. And just by talking with her today, she wants to see at least 20 to 30 more pounds gone before we take away the medication and we work on maintaining, which I am 100% okay with. I have learned in this past 9 months how to shift my eating habits to where I don't always have to be eating something. I also eat a lot less than normal. When I started taking the medication, I had issues where I wouldn't eat at all. But now I've learned that, like, shot days, drink a protein drink with my shot. That's usually my breakfast. I don't typically eat breakfast in the morning because of school. Like, I just don't have time. But I eat a really good lunch, and I have like a little snack like towards the mid-afternoon, and then I eat dinner that night. And it's finally coming together for me. I feel like it has taken long enough, you know, to see myself through the lens that I want to see myself through. My blood work is normal. My metabolic panel looks good. Like, my numbers are just, everything is falling into place. And this has been a journey for me, you know? So I just wanted to, like, encourage anyone who is thinking about starting a GLP-1 medication to talk to your doctor first off, because what might be good for me might not be good for you. But it has saved my life. I know there's negative talk about GLP-1s, but I'm telling you, it has been absolutely incredible for me. My husband is on his own weight loss journey, which has been amazing for him. At one point in time, he took Ozempic because he is diabetic. But he is on tirzepatide, which is a compounded form of Mounjaro. And within the last 3 to 4 months, he's almost down 70 pounds. But you gotta understand, my husband is a big dude. Like, he's a big guy. And I've never been more proud of him. And it's just encouraging me to keep going because I have him doing this with me now. The goal for us is to be healthy for Cole. You know, raising a special needs son is not easy. And this world can be very cruel and unforgiving. And I want to make sure that I'm here as long as I can be so that he has somebody in this world for him, you know. So that is my little spiel on GLP-1 medications and my journey through my ups and downs of weight loss. I just want to encourage you that, you know, regardless of what you try and, you know, losing weight in a healthy way, being monitored by your doctors, you got to just take it one day at a time. One day at a time, one step at a time, minute by minute. It's going to be okay. I'm proud of myself. It's a phrase that I don't often say. Like, I'm the person who tells these children all day, every day, how proud I am of them for their growth and forgetting sometimes that, you know, I'm human too. And sometimes it's nice for me to experience that as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. We got a lot of things coming up. We are in that last month and a half of school before summertime, and I cannot wait to bring you some content this summer. We have classroom stuff. We have cheer stuff. It is just, you know, the usual cleaning stuff. I can't wait. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video. And I'll see you soon. Bye.